Welcome back. Fraud is a threat that we often warn you about, but financial experts here in the St. Louis area say there was a recent uptick in fraudulent activity. People of all ages falling victim, some tricked into giving up their bank information and losing their entire life savings. So Lisa Blamey joins us. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Retail Bank at First Bank. You have some fraud prevention strategies, which is perfect because it is Fraud Prevention Month this March. First, I want to ask about that increase in fraudulent activity that you're seeing in St. Louis. What does that look like?
Well, and it's not specific to St. Louis, obviously. It's across the nation, but we are seeing an increase in those frauds perpetrated through the mail. So checks being intercepted in the mail, the fraudster is then making, a identification to match the checks and altering the items, and then in some cases even altering the dollar amounts and cashing them for different dollar amounts. Obviously they're not getting to the individual intended. In general, fraud is on the increase. In part, they say related to COVID. We saw an increase in fraud happening. And there are some statistics to prove that out, but recently we've seen an uptick in a specific type of fraud.
And let's talk a little bit more about those tactics that you're seeing now, including Amazon.
Sure. Yeah, for Amazon, in a lot of cases, you'll see that the victim will get a phone call from an Amazon or someone perpetrating Amazon. They're saying they're from the fraud department. They're going to ask questions about some kind of activity on their account that looks like it may be suspicious or have fraud. They might ask the victim to download an app on either their computer or their mobile device. That gains access to their computer, and then in turn some of the information on their computer that they're going to use to try and commit fraud on their accounts. If the victim is getting questions about what's your user ID, what's your password, what's your PIN number, those are all things that should be red alerts for them.
Okay.
They should be asking questions about why they're asking.
Who's falling victims?
Yeah, I think there's a misnomer that it's restricted only to those in our senior communities, but that's not the case. And honestly, because so much of the fraud is happening online, virtually anybody that's on the internet, you're shopping, you're banking, you're searching, any of those folks are a possible risk for fraud.
Quickly before you go, let's go through a few tips for further protecting ourselves.
Absolutely. So if you're getting a text message with a link, if you get an email with a link or an attachment, if you're getting any kind of pop-up on your screen, just be conscious of the fact that you should be second-guessing them before you click on anything. If you're getting emails from somebody that you don't know or it was unsolicited, you should just delete them. And unfortunately, because they can often make emails look like they're coming from someone that you know, you also should probably reach out to the individual. Did you send me an email with an attachment? So that you are absolutely certain that it is a valid email and a real attachment that you should be looking at before you open up yourself to something.
Great suggestions. I know it might seem to our viewers like we're talking about this a lot, but it's because it's happening a lot because people keep falling for it. So Lisa,
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us just in time for Fraud Prevention Month.
Thank you.
Still